What's up everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, welcome. For today's video, I'm actually really excited for today's video because I'm doing something I've never done on my channel before. Well, that's a little bit of a stretch. I've definitely done a Q&A get ready with me before, but I'm doing a girl talk TMI question get ready with me. So I actually saw Laura Lee do this on her channel, and I really enjoyed watching it, and I thought that it was super helpful for girls everywhere. I can't be the only one who growing up thought I was weird for certain things happening to me or my body or how I was thinking, because certain things are just kind of like taboo. They're not talked about enough. And so after watching her video, I felt so much more normal or seen. I don't know. So I wanted to do one myself on my channels. I asked you guys to ask me TMI questions, and nothing was off limits. I've never spoken this candidly, this open on my channel before. I'm not someone who gets embarrassed easily, and a lot of the things that you might think you're weird for are actually really normal. I want you to think of me as your older sister, your best friend, your younger sister. I don't know, just a friend. I just want to be your friend and talk about things. Of course, if I say anything where you're like, absolutely not, I feel this way about it, leave it in the comments down below. I'm definitely open to having a open conversation, but please keep it nice. If you have a difference of opinions or you have different beliefs, I want to hear them, but please keep them nice and respectful in the comments. For the makeup I'm going to be using, I will be leaving it all linked down below. And then also, I'm going to be using a lot of Charlotte Tilbury because I did just receive a box from them. But today's video giveaway is this box of Charlotte Tilbury. There's a bunch of stuff. There's a magic cream. There's 2 lip liners, a setting spray, a brow lift, a few brushes, a blush, an eyeshadow palette. So leave a comment down below and make sure in the comment, even if you comment on something else in the video, that just add that you want to be entered to the giveaway, and you can enter as many times as you want, leave as many comments as you want. I will be picking that in my next video. I have talked a lot already. I think it's time to just get into the video. Sorry for how my hair looks, by the way. I'm on like day 9 here. I'm using the LA clip. It's my favorite. These clips hold your hair so well. I love how I'm literally like in my loungewear, like I'm wearing my sweater from Aritzia, my favorite biker shorts from White Fox, and then I have my smiley face slippers that we just launched, which are super comfortable. So I'm so comfy. I'm excited about this. Okay, the first topic I want to talk about is sex, and the question, I got a lot of questions about it, and the first one is, how often do you have sex in a week? What do you do when you don't feel like doing it? And then also, how important is sex in a relationship to you? How often do you have sex? Okay, so let's just talk about this because I thought I was so weird for a long time. I feel like for me, it has kind of really depended on who I'm dating. Like some people I just did not want to have sex with. Like it's just, I think it really depends on the person, but it also depends on you. And for me, I was so used to seeing in videos, movies rather, or TV, like people wanting to have sex 50 times a day. And while I'm sure there are people who do want to have sex like 800 times a day, I'm not one of those people, and that's normal. And I thought I was like, there was something wrong with me. I've never been the type of person where I just really need to have sex. It actually has caused issues in my past relationship just because I'm never just sitting there and like want to have sex. In my past relationships, in my current relationship, it's definitely different, and I'll get to why in a sec. But yeah, so I went to the doctor and I was like, look, I never just like want to have sex. Now, saying that, it's not like I don't enjoy it, because once it's happening, I enjoy it. Especially in my past, like it never crossed my mind. So I went to the doctor and she told me that it's normal. Like it got to the point where I started taking a supplement called horny goat weed because I thought I was so, like an adaptogen, because I thought it was so weird. But some people just have different sex drives, and I know when I was on birth control, I had no sex drive. So maybe if you're on birth control, that could really be affecting it. I also have to say, for me, it really depends in a week. I don't like putting a schedule like every Monday, Wednesday, Friday we're gonna have sex. Like, so that might work for some people, but I feel like for me that would be like a lot of pressure, and sometimes I just don't feel like it, and sometimes I really feel like it, and sometimes like my boyfriend doesn't feel like it. Last week we had sex every single day, and then the week before that we didn't even have sex once. So it really depends. There's not like a certain amount of, I think maybe 2 to 3 times a week is normal. But it really depends. Sometimes a week goes by and we don't, you know, have sex. I definitely don't want to schedule it, but I know that some people, that's what works best for them, and that scheduling that time is really important. So yeah, I just really thought I was weird for not, you know, constantly wanting to have sex. I had this friend in high school who literally would talk about how she wanted to have sex like 50 times a day, and I was like, I would rather die. I noticed that once I started speaking openly about what I wanted, what I enjoyed, my desire for it obviously went up like exponentially. I did a confessions thing on my Instagram story, and one of you guys said that you were dating someone for 4 years and you faked it the entire time. And I'm not gonna lie, in past relationships, I faked it every single. I hope they're not watching. I faked it constantly. Okay, I'm sitting here editing. Oh my gosh, I look like a mess. But I'm sitting here editing, and I just, like, once I heard myself say that, I realized that that is my fault that I faked it every single time. That was not any of my past boyfriends' fault, because me faking it made them think that what they were doing was good and they should keep doing that. When in reality, I should have just communicated what I liked, what I didn't like, how I want them to do things. Then we both could have, you know, enjoyed it. But it was my fault that I just didn't communicate what I liked, so they're over there thinking they're doing everything right. So that was no shade to them. That's all my fault. So if you're faking it, stop. But just communicate what you like. And I've just made a vow to myself once I started dating my boyfriend now, like, I'm never faking it. In terms of importance of sex in a relationship, oh, this is really hard to open. For me, it's not that it's not important, but for me it's important because when we're having sex more, I just feel more emotionally connected to my boyfriend, and for me that's why it's like super important. I think communication is key. You need to communicate with like what you want, and you need to stop faking it. Stop it. And I used to feel a lot of like I didn't want to get made fun of for like what I enjoyed. Looking back, so weird to think, but in my past relationships I didn't feel comfortable kind of communicating that. If your partner is not a baby, they won't make fun of you for communicating like what you want, what you enjoy, and all that stuff. I wish my libido was higher, but also for me, how I feel in my body, like if I'm eating healthy and working out, I don't know why, but I just want to have sex more often. And if I'm feeling like gross in my body, like it's the last thing I want to do. Okay, with that, I got a lot of questions about why I don't share my relationship and why I never show him. And that's honestly just because I share a lot on my channel, and my relationship is just something that I choose to keep private. As soon as you talk about something online, people feel like they have the right to talk about something, and that's just not, my relationship is just one thing that I don't want people feeling like they have the right to talk about, and that's just like the honest truth. So if someone wants to attack my appearance or other things, like that really doesn't bother me, but when someone attacks my family or my boyfriend, and I'm just sitting here giving you guys ammunition, but if you guys attack that, like that hurts more. So that's something I just choose to keep more personal. And also, he didn't sign up to be public and online, so I don't want to like force him to have to deal with that, and he's already gotten some like weird ass messages, so I just choose to keep that private. How do you feel about period sex? Okay, so I always thought it was like super gross. I never wanted to do it, and I still think it's not like it's not my favorite. I don't necessarily think it's gross in the shower. I would never have sex on my period in bed, but I know many people who do. But it has happened where like I've had sex and like the having sex like triggered me getting my period. And I've never been embarrassed about stuff like that. Like I know a lot of people or a lot of girls when they got their period, they were so embarrassed and like they were like, hide my tampon. And I was like, why are you hiding your tampon? Like every single girl gets their period and they'd be embarrassed about boys. Every girl gets their period. If they think that's weird or gross, then they're like a loser. Like grow up. If we do, it's in the shower and like you don't even notice the difference. Okay, so that leads to my next topic, which is my period routine, and then also about how I look stylish while I'm on my period. Which if I'm feeling like shit and I'm bloated and I feel gross, I'm not looking stylish while I'm on my period. It's just not happening. But I do have to say my period used to be like, if I had my period, I couldn't wear clothes, like I couldn't wear white. I was very nervous. That's because I was using tampons, and for about a year now, I switched to using a Diva cup. And let me just tell you, if you are not using a Diva cup, pause this video, buy one, and come back, because it literally changed my life. I will be an advocate for the Diva cup until the day I die. My sister is actually the one who put me on the Diva cup. She was like, this is the best thing ever. I think she did a whole video. Where's my face powder? I think she did a whole video about her Diva cup, and at first I bought it and I didn't like it. I couldn't figure out how to get it in. I was leaking. But once I figured out how to get this thing in, my life was changed forever. So when I get my period, I get my Diva cup, I put it in, and it's like I don't have my period. You don't leak at all. You don't have to worry about leaking unless your entire Diva cup fills up, which is like impossible. Like I know I used to think I was bleeding out, like I was going to pass out from how much I was bleeding, because I was using Super Plus tampons. Like I had a heavy flow, especially for like 1 or 2 days. I had a really heavy flow. I usually don't even fill a whole Diva cup, and I have a heavy period. But if you do, you just change your Diva cup more often. So I put my Diva cup in and it doesn't leak. Like, you know, with tampons, as soon as it gets like a little bit full, like you're leaking everywhere. You don't have to worry about leaking. It doesn't move. You know, when you like sit down to pee with a tampon, like, or if you have to go to the bathroom, like it feels like it's getting expelled out of your body, at least for me. Like sometimes I've honestly forgotten about my Diva cup, because that's how much you forget about it. You don't leak. Like it is the best thing that was ever invented. Okay, I would show you guys my Diva cup, but it's actually quite stained. But I just use the one that they sell at the pharmacy, like the Diva cup brand. And what I do, so it's like this circular like cone thing like this. I smush it and then I fold it like a taco, and then you put it in, and the tip is I like twist it a few times inside me. You have to get a little bit dirty, okay? It's your own period blood. I know some people think that's gross. You forget about it. You take it out, you empty the cup, you wash it off. I wash it off in the sink. You put it back. You forget about it again. My period only lasts like 4 days, and I maybe change it once or twice a day, depending on how heavy it is. I can exercise with it, and I don't have to worry about it leaking. So with that, I got a lot of like more personal hygiene questions about down there. Inside, I just use water, but I do have like the feminine hygiene wash for like the outside area. You want to make sure you rinse it really good with water, but your vagina cleans itself. How to deal with UTIs or other girl probs down there. Love you too. So I actually have only gotten a UTI once in my I got one twice, and it was the worst few days of my life. If you have a UTI, you will know you have a UTI. It feels like, for me at least, like it just feels like you have to pee constantly. That doesn't sound that annoying, but it is the most annoying thing in the world. Like just constantly feeling like you have to pee. It's torture. I don't get them often enough to like do anything to prevent them. I know that cranberry juice works really well, but I personally don't deal with them a lot. The things that I do deal with is yeast infections. This advice is not going to be for people who want to cure things naturally. I'm sure you can cure a yeast infection naturally or a UTI naturally, but if I'm in pain, if my vagina is itching, if my bladder is burning, give me the medicine, okay? So when I had a UTI, my doctor prescribed me this like drink, and within 24 hours it was gone. A magical potion. A yeast infection one time, okay, let me tell you this little story. One time I had a yeast infection. I was taking a lot of baths. For me, that's what triggers my yeast infection. So now I just use water, but I was using like Lush bath bombs. So I went to the doctor because I started itching, and the moment you're about to get a yeast infection, you will know. It's this there's a feeling. So I got this itchy feeling and I was like, oh shit, what is that? What's going on? There was no way that I had like an STD or anything, but I was like, it really freaking itches. You need to help. And she did a test. It was a private doctor. The test was so expensive and it came back no, that there was no yeast infection. So I was like so confused. It wasn't a yeast infection. I did get screened for like STDs and stuff, but I knew I didn't have one. I didn't have sex with anyone. So I ended up going to the pharmacy and getting like one that a medicine where you put it up there. Didn't help at all. At that point, I had a yeast infection in my intestines. But in the times since I've had a yeast infection, I go to the pharmacy, I take the pill that they have at the pharmacy for yeast infections, not the one you put up your vagina. I take the pill and within 24 hours, it's gone. Hi, me again. Okay, I also want to add that if you get them often, like for a while I was getting them often, I realized that it was because of the bath. So maybe look at what's triggering your UTIs or yeast infections and try to stop that. So for me, if I take baths, it's now just with Epsom salt and my body's okay with that. And also with UTIs, you should be peeing after you have sex. And then also I heard that boric acid suppositories, the ones you put up your vagina, are really good at cleaning your vagina if you suffer from that a lot, but don't use that if you are pregnant. What age did you lose your virginity? I lost my virginity when I was 14 years old, which now looking back seems extremely young. However, I lost it to someone who I had been dating for like 8 months. It was a very serious boyfriend. So I have no regrets about when or how I lost my virginity. Like, no regrets at all. But it's so weird because now looking back, when I say I was 14 years old, I'm like, I was so young. But I can honestly say that I feel exactly the same as how I did when I was 14. Like maturity wise, like I guess that's how like people who are like 50 say like I feel like I'm 18. My mind feels the same. That I'm happy that I did it with someone who I was dating at that time, especially because I was that young. But everyone's different. For some people, losing their virginity is a really big deal, and for some people it's just not. And I respect both beliefs, you know? I respect people who want to wait until marriage, and I respect people who just don't even think it's a big deal. If you haven't lost your virginity yet, don't feel pressured to do it until you feel right. This one made me laugh. I hope none of my ex-boyfriends are watching this. But someone said, my ex always smelled like ball sweat. Have you had issues with a significant other where you had to say something? So I actually have. There's this one boyfriend in mind. At that time I was younger. I'm not going to say who. If for whatever reason I smelled, which I wouldn't, because I am very adamant about showering before I do anything, or at least within like 2 hours. I'm not gonna go get groceries, unpack groceries, clean the house, go for a run, and then be like, have fun. You know, I definitely always like feeling clean for myself and for my partner. So at this point, I hope that just like if I smelled, my partner would tell me in a nice way. I would tell my partner, but I'm very comfortable with my boyfriend. During that time, because obviously I didn't feel as comfortable and I didn't want to hurt the person's feelings, I didn't say anything. This is exactly what you need to do. Instead of just being like, yo, you smell, take care of that, I would be like, maybe, do you want to go in the shower and like move things to the shower? Give a little scrub-a-dub-dub and then have your fun. And maybe he'll take a hint. Maybe, here's what you need to do. Maybe, like, let's say he tries instigating and you're like, oh, it's been a long day. I need to shower and make sure I smell good. Maybe that will trigger something in his mind and be like, do I smell good? And maybe not, because most guys don't think about that. So you have to mention it. There's a few questions about my house and building a house. So when building a house, are you eligible to get a mortgage or you need to pay all up front? So this is with my experience. I don't know if it's the same everywhere, but this is just like what happened with me. Before anything, I got pre-approved at the bank because that is super important when buying a house. It makes the whole process go by a lot easier. So I got pre-approved for for me, I got pre-approved at the max amount that I was allowed by myself. That kind of gave me a window. I didn't want to spend the amount I was fully pre-approved for, but that just like gave me an idea. Once you have that letter from your bank, I found the house I wanted to build. I went to the builder and I just had to give them the pre-approval letter, and then I had to give the bank the details about how much the house was going to cost, and they drafted this paper that I had to give back to the contractor. Basically, yes, you get a mortgage. For me, I only have to pay the down payment when the house is ready, when I go to the notary, and when it's transferred to my name. When the house is ready, that's when I pay the down payment. When you're building a house, you need to give a deposit on the down payment. At least I had to with my experience looking at other builders. It depends. For another builder I was looking at, you had to give 15% or 20% of the down payment as a deposit. So you give a portion, and then that money counts towards your down payment when you buy the house. So yes, you do get a mortgage. That was a very long-winded way of saying yes, you do get a mortgage. I don't think anyone would build a house, or most people wouldn't build a house if they couldn't get a mortgage. I would never buy a house outright though, for investment reasons. I got this. Okay, so this one says, has you ever shit your pants as an adult? Be honest. I did in TJ Maxx after hibachi with my sister. This one made me laugh. Not because I've never shit my pants. I wish that I can go to the bathroom that quickly, but I simply cannot. Like for me, like my stomach I think is made of steel. Nothing upsets my stomach. I could eat 5 blocks of cheese, hibachi, spicy food, Indian food, Chinese food, Italian food, Lebanese food. I can eat everything and my stomach is perfectly fine. Although I wish my food went through my body that quickly. It just simply doesn't. My metabolism is not that fast. Changing panties throughout the day or wearing liners because of discharge. Let's talk about discharge, you guys. Discharge was one of the things I was talking about at the beginning of this video when I said that I thought I was super weird. I was super embarrassed about discharge. I always knew discharge was normal because my mom talked about it. She said, this is what's happening. Super normal. My sister talked about it. In my house, at least, it wasn't weird. But when it came to my friends, it wasn't really like a talked about thing. And if anything, I feel like I thought I was super weird because we didn't talk about it. But discharge is beyond normal. Your discharge changes throughout the month based on what part of your cycle you're in. Super normal. I like monitoring my discharge because I like to know if there's something wrong. You can see it in your discharge. So I don't think it's gross. I don't wear panty liners. I just, let it happen. And then I wash my underwear and life goes on. I definitely don't wear panty liners throughout the day. I definitely don't change my panties throughout the day. Everyone has it. Every woman has it. Woman might have it at different degrees. Like someone might have it more than another woman, but it's normal. Just like everyone's vagina looks different. Have you ever had a pregnancy scare? I have never had a pregnancy scare. As I get older, I'm starting to worry that I may be infertile because I probably should have had one by now. I mean, I'm always safe. There have been a few slip-ups. I get my period like clockwork. Every single month it comes on the same day, so I never have had a pregnancy scare, like a true pregnancy scare. I have taken pregnancy tests, on birth control, my period. If I missed a day of my birth control, my period would be all off and I would take a pregnancy test, but I've never actually had a pregnancy scare. Is it normal to not orgasm? Honestly, this is another thing that I thought I was super weird of. For me, it's not impossible, but very improbable. Most of the time, it's not gonna happen just from sex. I have to have something else going on. And I thought I was so weird because people online make it seem like it's so easy. And again, for some people, I'm sure it is. Not saying it's never happened, but it's definitely more likely to happen if I'm doing something else, if you know what I mean. The biggest thing for me was figuring out my body and what I liked and what made me feel good by myself. Just explore your own body, and then you can figure out and tell your partner what you like and what you enjoy. Because most women, surprisingly, cannot orgasm just from penetration. Of course, women, some can. Most women can't. They have to have some sort of other stimulation going on. So you're not weird. Okay, this is actually something I'm very passionate about and I want to talk about. So how often should you have sex with your girlfriend or boyfriend after moving in? Sex drive went down. I'm very passionate about moving in with your significant other. It sounds like a dream, right? It sounds like you're going to move in and you're just going to have sex all the time. You're going to want to be together all the time. That's actually quite the opposite. Moving in with your partner is probably the hardest thing you're ever going to have to do. Okay, it's a little dramatic, but it is way more difficult than people like to say or acknowledge or give credit to. Moving in and living with your partner is a whole different ballgame than seeing them once or twice a week. And I love living with my boyfriend, but once you move in with them, you don't really miss them. My best friend sees her boyfriend once or twice a week and she always misses him. And like, I see my boyfriend every day. Like, I know when I get home from work, he's there. When he gets home from work, I'm there. We go to bed together every night. You have to try harder in your relationship once you move in. Like, you have to set a specific day night. For me, a big thing was feeling, not in this relationship because I made it very known from the beginning, but in my past relationship, my big thing was feeling like a roommate. It is so easy after living or moving in with someone to settle into that roommate mentality. You're also seeing your partner in a completely different light. You're seeing qualities that you might not see if you're only seeing them like 2 or 3 or once a week. This is something when, like I said, when I moved in with Darren, I said my biggest fear is feeling like a roommate. I don't want to feel like a roommate, and we both have been good at not feeling like a roommate, and I can honestly say I don't. But another big thing in past relationships was like, we would spend a lot of time together, but it wasn't quality time together. Like, we'd be both sitting on our phone on the couch. We had to start taking time and going on a date and doing things together because we wanted to be together. Not just because we lived together, we had to be together. Taking time and doing things because you genuinely want to be together is the most important thing you have to do in a relationship once you move in with each other. Having your own life, your own friends outside of your relationship is also really important, so you can go out, do things without your partner, and have an opportunity to miss them. I think when your whole life is your partner, that's when things can go a little south because you need your own life. At the same time, there's no better feeling than coming home to someone you love and telling them about your day. You just gotta maybe spice things up. Like I said, if you spend every single day constantly all your free time with your partner and you live together, you think that'd be amazing for your sex drive, but it actually kind of like... Okay, and lastly, I think the topic I'm going to finish up on is kind of my plastic surgery and mostly my breasts, because I got a lot of questions about them because I got my boobs done when I was 18 and I'm turning 24 in August. How crazy. Are you currently happy with your breast implants? Not during healing, but are you happy now? So I actually have a few videos on my getting my breast implants. I vlogged the whole thing, so if you want to check that out, you can find them on my channel. So I got 345 cc's high profile silicone cohesive gel implants under the muscle. I went to Dr. Hanny-Cito in Montreal. My nose is like getting blocked, and I could not be happier with my results. I forget that I even have them. People all the time don't believe that my boobs are fake, which that's the look I wanted. The only thing I might wish is that I went a little bit bigger, 375, 400 is I wish I kind of went to that size, but I'm not unhappy with them. Now that I've gained a little bit of weight, my boobs have grown a tiny bit. I know that once I have a baby, God willing, my boobs are gonna grow, so I'll assess the situation after, but honestly I wouldn't change anything about my boobs and the whole situation. I'm super happy with them now. Actually really surprised I was able to get any makeup on my face while speaking. I have a really hard time multitasking. Alrighty you guys, so that is it for my TMI girl talk. Get ready with me. I really enjoyed filming this. Let me know if you guys enjoyed it. As usual, leave all of your comments down below. I want to have conversations with you guys. I want to know your opinions and your feelings on these things. Also, leave a comment for the Charlotte Tilbury giveaway if that's something you want to win. Don't forget about that. Every makeup product I used will be listed down below in order of when I use them, with my shades and all the details. Also, I forgot to mention, for the giveaway, you need to be subscribed to my channel. I love you guys so much. Don't forget to be subscribed for new videos every single week, and I'll see you guys back here next time.